Hello, my name is Paris Dobbins, and welcome to the Good News Theater. Today we have a special guest on our show today. His name is Ronn Johnson. He's the president of the Martin Luther King Center. How are you, Ron?
Paris, I'm doing good.
Welcome to the Good News Theater.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be able to come and talk a bit about the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services.
You are welcome. I couldn't wait to get you here so we can show the community what it is that they're missing, because you've got some things to offer out there.
Yeah, we're a multi-service agency that's operated really in the community since 1977 was when it was initially chartered. And at that time it was a fellowship house, and from the fellowship house evolved the community center, and from the community center evolved the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services.
Okay. I remember when I'm not originally from Springfield, but I've been here since I was a very young teenager. And I remember when that building went up. And we have you have Dora Robinson running it first, and of course a string of directors who were there, and now you're there. So what is it that you offer the community at this point? Just a nutshell, just a couple things.
Well, there are many things, but if you think about the young people that we work with on a daily basis, they bring a variety of different issues. And we really have to give Dora Robinson a great deal of credit for the leadership that she had for over 19 years.
Yes.
She served as the president and CEO of the agency. And I am really the second, actually the third executive director. There were a couple of interim executive directors that served there.
Okay.
While they were searching for ultimately an executive director to come. But I'm the third, and actually I should say the first, because back in the early days there was another woman by the name of Donna Ivy who actually preceded Dora Robinson, and she did a lot of the legwork relative to some of the fundraising to be able to actually get the center built.
Really?
That's right.
I didn't even know that part there.
That's right.
That's good information.
And the center evolved, as I mentioned earlier. It evolved actually out of the Martin Luther King Jr. Presbyterian Church at that time under the leadership of Reverend Ronald Edward Peters. And he was the pastor that came to a church that was initially called the First Presbyterian Church, which had been a primarily white congregation in Mason Square. And as gentrification and time changes and the complexion of the community changed, that congregation became increasingly a congregation that was made of primarily African American families. And Ron Peters was that young pastor that came with a vision, and he started something called Project Mustard Seed. So from there...
Project Mustard Seed?
Project Mustard Seed.
Okay.
And from there came the impetus for the fundraising and the vision towards building the community center.
Wow.
But prior to that community center, there was a parsonage that was right next door to the church, which ran a number of after-school programs and summertime activities for young people, again, led by Ron Peters and a group of volunteers from the church.
Wow.
So there's a rich history that's there. So people tend to think about the building when it came up, but there was a lot of work that had happened prior to that really laid the foundation. And we have to really give credit to any of those folks who may be watching at home who remember that story, because it's not often told what the real history was.
Well, I'm glad you're here to tell it so we can just set it straight. And, education is so important today, especially when it comes to the community of Springfield and also the Martin Luther King Center. People didn't know how it became about. It was there. Let's take advantage of it. And so you've been the president for how long?
I've been there for 6 years.
6 years.
But my involvement has been well over 30, 40 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of services do you all offer? I know there's an after-school program. My little brother went to an after-school program there during the term of Dora Robinson.
Right.
But I've been sort of out of touch since then.
So there's after-school programming, and that's been a staple in the agency, for working parents or parents who are students on a full-time or part-time basis needing to have appropriate after-school activity and care for their children while they're working or in school. And that continues to be a mainstay. But aside from that, it's the tutorial programs, it's the brother-to-brother mentoring program, and then you start looking at what kind of other development needs young people have. So there should be sports and recreational programs. So we do have a number of basketball leagues that are still, a major part of the organization. We've had access to martial arts programs. We had dance programs that have operated from out of the agency. And many people remember the Historically Black College Tour program.
That's crazy you say that. That was my next question. Are you guys still sponsoring that, or you deal with the Black College Tour?
We just completed in April our 37th year of taking young people from Springfield to see historically black colleges and to let them know that that is an option for them, that we're really pushing higher education every day. The education is important and there's a range of opportunities. But I think that when young people get the opportunity to venture outside of the city of Springfield and to see other young people like themselves on a college campus who are pursuing these degrees in diverse areas, and seeing the rich history and the pride that's associated with their participation on a HBCU campus, that they come back with their eyes open in a way that's very different. And so we provide that opportunity as a way of letting them know there are options, and there are as a fair percentage of them who do end up deciding to attend the HBCU. But our ultimate goal is to make sure that these young people come back saying, I'm going to go to college.
Exactly. That's really important, because a lot of children are not, they don't even know what that is. I remember as a child coming into Springfield from Brooklyn, New York, I wasn't going to college. I was like, no, I'm not going. And when I came to Springfield and I dealt with the Urban League and Henry Thomas and Daphne Moore and Henry Alston, those guys, they wasn't having it. They were like, oh, you're going to college. And that was my motivation, dealing with the Urban League. I didn't deal so much with the Martin Luther King Center, but all that's, all in one area, helping the young black kids.
But it really does show the importance.
Oh, yeah. Very important.
So, something turned on for you.
Yes.
And you knew that college was achievable and that it was an option that you had to pursue if you were looking to have some degree of success in your life.
Exactly. Exactly. And, I don't regret one moment of it, all the hard times I had to
go through. On the Historically Black College Tour, we have homeless resettlement programs, so working with homeless population, folks who have been chronically homeless, and really getting them to a situation where they can learn how to manage their financial resources and to be able to maintain a household. We work with, through the Department of Child and Family Services, we're working with moms and sometimes dads who are parenting and have hit a place where they're struggling and have been referred into the Department of Child and Family Services for some support and perhaps an intervention. And we have a whole cadre of caseworkers who go out and work with those parents as parent aides, and helping them to be able to manage and to set a set of goals. And then they eventually end up moving off, and they develop great relationships with these folks, and they are able to then move away from having the state be involved in supporting them to care for their children. And beyond that, it is just making sure that we have a well-rounded group of young people who are exposed to cultural activities in the community, that many of which we sponsor. But we also have really taken a very aggressive stance around addressing the public health needs of our community. We operate in a food desert, and if you know what I mean, a food desert meaning we have no mainline grocery store in Mason Square.
Gotcha.
If you decide at lunchtime you want to walk out and go find, let's say maybe some fresh grapes, you're not going to find them.
In Winchester
If you
Square.
find them, they're not going to be the freshest.
Right.
All right.
Exactly.
But we have a lot of dollar stores, and we have a lot of bodegas that sell processed foods. So that's contributing to the demise of our health, and we see that in the obesity levels. We see it in the hypertension levels, and the diabetes is a major factor for people who live in the Mason Square area also. So we have a community health worker who's working with a group of men to be able to make sure they stay on target. We have a whole cadre of young people who are educated as public health advocates, talking to their peers about the importance of abstaining from tobacco and drugs and eating healthy. And all of this is done in collaboration with our area hospitals. We're great partners with Mercy Hospital, and Bay State Health System is really great, been a great partner also. And they provide funds to us to assist us to be able to keep these programs going. So if you think about, the person who walks in perhaps one day looking for after school support, they'll find after school support, but they'll also find they can sign their kids up for tutorial supports. Then they find they can sign their kid up for the basketball program. Then they'll find that they might be able to participate in our adult um, courses for in humanities through Clemente. Maybe they're food insecure. They can join the 14,000 individuals who are registered to be able to get emergency food resources. And we're
Fantastic.
seeing upwards of 500 people who come on a weekly basis because they're food insecure and they get groceries from the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services.
How effective are these programs like working? I mean, are they? I mean, are people participating in these programs? Like, are the numbers like through the roof, or we're still like getting it developed? Where are we with these additional?
It's a range. So we could always encourage more people to sign up to participate in our free college courses.
Right.
We have more spots that are open in our after school program. We are overwhelmed every Thursday with the number of people that come in to get emergency groceries. We have a very robust basketball program led by Coach Jackson. And our social service programs all have caps on them, so we're hitting all the numbers that we need to hit. But could we do more with more resources? Absolutely, yes.
Sure,
we,
sure.
we could do more if we had more financial resources to be able to address the need that exists out there. So there are some areas where the community is not utilizing to the extent that they could, but there are areas of programming that we have that if we had greater resources, we could do a deeper dive.
Sure. So you mentioned the Clemente program.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what exactly is that?
Well, the Clemente courses are actually sponsored. They're hosted at the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services. Funding comes through the Mass Humanities, and this is an opportunity for non-traditional students, maybe having not gone beyond high school, or maybe having had some college courses but discontinued. So the average profile is going to be a person who's probably 45 to maybe 70 years of age, who maybe their children have already graduated from college, the children got their education, and now they're saying, it's my time. And the courses specifically are in the humanities, meeting twice a week, but it creates an opportunity for them to be able to get college credits through Bard College, and they can transfer those credits into any college and university in America. They're well respected.
Wow.
The professors come to us from University of Massachusetts, Elms College, Western New England College, Springfield College, and American International.
That's fantastic. Now, is there a charge for this? Is there a cost with this?
It's absolutely free.
It's free.
It's free.
Okay. That's huge. That's where the money is right there. That it's free. And you can okay, let me just make sure I understand.
The books are all free.
Okay.
We provide tokens for bus transportation if necessary. And we provide child care supports and stipends if necessary as well. So we try to take away any of the barriers that might exist.
Certainly.
To a person to say, oh, well, I can't get there because I've got kids and I need somebody to care for my kids, or I don't have a car. Well, we'll give you a token for bus. We're on the bus line.
Wow. So not only are the courses free, but you're going to help them get to school.
That's right.
To the classes. You also can provide any other additional things where you can overcome these objectives that's preventing them from continuing their education.
Oh yeah, they don't have to invest really much of anything other than bringing their desire to learn.
Desire, interest, and motivation.
Absolutely. The books.
Right.
The books are paid for also.
Wow.
So all this is done through fundraising. So my job, at the agency is to be able to support a lot of what we do through fundraising activities and donations that we receive from people in the community.
Okay. How often do you have a class start?
So the next class will begin in September. So it's a traditional school year, September through May.
Gotcha.
So we just graduated our last, our
That's
third
right.
third graduating class occurred about 2 weeks ago. And it was a group that started out with about 25 to 30 individuals, seemingly all very committed to being able to do it. But it's not easy. And
No.
that's the thought of needing to fall into a routine where 2 times a week you're out for 2.5 hours, and that you've got homework in between that time, you got reading assignments. So it's some folks are able to ride it all the way through, but a little bit less than 1/2 of that group actually ended up completing through to be able to get the certificate.
Right, you got to work. You got your children. There are always factors involved.
They are, but we're going to be there.
Yeah.
And so there were folks the first year who could not continue on, and they came back the second year.
Wow.
They said, this was so good. I know it's important. It's a goal that I've set for myself, and I want to realize this. I want to get to the graduation day. I want to show my family. I want to show my children, who I've always encouraged to aspire to do hard things and achieve it. I encourage them in that, but I need, as the mother or as a dad, I need to show them I can do it too.
See, and that's because of you. See, you made that happen, Ron. I want to see God is sovereign. I feel the, all the love that you have for these students going there and, coming in and wanting to change their lives.
Yeah.
And I thank God that he put you in this position to make this happen for some of those who didn't have the chance when they were younger.
I feel it's absolutely a calling. I've done other things in my life, and this is probably the most rewarding and the most challenging professional experience that I've had. And I worked at Fortune 500 companies. I worked for the largest non-for-profit as the vice president there in that organization. And here I'm running this small not-for-profit in the community that has a huge charge. When I tell people that we serve upwards of 850 unduplicated individuals every week, they're astonished by that. To know that we do that with a budget that's less than $2 million and that we have a staff of less than 35 people to make that all happen.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. It's
Yeah.
pretty amazing. But it takes due diligence. It takes,
It takes due diligence, yes, but it takes the commitment of the folks. Now, I say that 35 staff that are wonderful, but then we have 110 volunteers, whether they be the folks who move all the groceries off of the trucks that
Right.
come in.
And those are important jobs.
Those are really important jobs.
Those are important.
And then the folks who then come on Thursday morning to be able to make sure everything gets pulled out of the storage areas and out of the freezers to be able to distribute the food. And then it's a whole nother set of volunteers who are the coaches. Then we have advisory boards and committees. We have a board of directors, that make up, again, that number of 110 volunteers. We put on an annual King Day celebration at the Mass Mutual Center. And Focus Springfield has filmed that for the past few years.
Really?
Yeah,
And when is it again? When's it happening
it's
again?
the Martin Luther King Day weekend, so that Monday that the holiday is celebrated.
Oh, just passed.
Last year we had 3,500 people in attendance. Wow. Yeah, just a 2-hour power pack program pulls the community together, but it takes 100 volunteers just to be able to make that happen, whether there be hostesses, folks who are working behind the scenes.
Exactly.
We have over 500 kids on stage that day, so it's a collaborative effort, and so we look richer than we are, but it's because of the collaborative effort that we put forward with other partners to do the work that we do.
Wow, that's fantastic. The Martin Luther King, do they have any specific goals that they're looking to achieve, like with the next 5 or 10 years? Like, what are you all hoping to achieve by then?
Well, stability of funding is always an important thing.
Always.
That's always at the top of the list. And then, the other piece is that our facility is 30 years old. So there's a capital campaign underway to be able to do renovations and upgrade the facility to assure that it will be there for the next 30 years and beyond that time.
Sure.
To be able to, and that, we have a commitment also to ensure that that facility is really reflective of quality and that it's inspirational when people walk in and say, this is something that's a great tribute to the legacy of Dr. King, not just in terms of the building, but what's going on inside of the building. And I'm big on the aesthetic aspect of that also, that people in our community shouldn't have to have a substandard place to recreate in, to learn and to socialize and to connect with other community members.
Exactly, and that word substandard is huge. We want to keep. I mean, why? If everyone else has it kicked up a notch, why can't we have that?
Thank you. Exactly.
Why can't we have it?
That's right.
I just want to rewind a little bit about the Clemente program. What classes do you offer? I know they're all humanities.
All the humanities. So we're talking about critical thinking. We're talking about review of literature.
Okay.
They have a great art history course that really focuses on the local history of the city of Springfield. So they really spend some time at the Springfield museums. And for folks who are residents of the city of Springfield and surrounding areas, it's a real eye-opener because they learn so much about the demographics of the city of Springfield.
Sure.
And when it was founded, and then its various stages of development over the years, really getting the history of it. And they're astonished. But that literature and that critical thinking
Mm-hmm.
and the reading assignments lay the foundation for folks to know that once they got that under their belt, they didn't get the confidence to know they can go on and pursue perhaps an associate's degree or go
Mm-hmm.
into a four-year degree. And I should mention that the courses, these are the certificate that they received comes from Bard's College, and the college credits are on Bard College certification.
Bart College.
Bard College.
Bart College. Now, where's that located?
Bard College, I believe, is in New York. Yeah, this is really for. I think that the student who's going to feel the most comfortable is a non-traditional student
Exactly.
who said, I really haven't engaged in formal education in some time, and this is a little frightening for me, but I want to be a lifelong learner. I want to get new information. I want to think about the world in different ways. I want to think about myself and my interaction with things that happen. Relative to the past as well as to the future opportunities in a different way. And these courses really get people to start to think about, one, the impact that they can have in their family life, but also in their community life and what it means for them from a professional development perspective also.
Do you have like an open house that you can?
Yeah, so what we start doing beginning this summer, we're at every community festival that we can be at. But if a person is interested in getting information, all they need to do is to call the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services, or they can go to our website. So if you call the agency, it's calling area code 413-746-3655. That's
Okay.
746-3655. Or they can go to our website, www.martinlutherkingjrfamilyservices.org.
Okay, we'll have that on the screen for everyone to see, where you can get in touch with one of the staff members at the Martin Luther King Center.
But it creates an opportunity, and go to the website, so you'll be able to learn even more, beyond the time that we have here today. You'll see photos from some of the events we recently held. This is actually our second annual Martin Luther King Jr. Social Justice Awards. So there were actually 8 individuals, one organization that were selected to receive awards in various areas of addressing social justice. It may have been racism, economic development, education, entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Just to name a few of those areas of recognizing individuals or organizations that advanced in some way those social justice issues in our community.
Okay. So just to move forward a little bit, do you have what's coming up next? What can we look for next? Because we're gonna, inform the people where they can attend. Because what I think is important is we get that class start for you in September. I want everyone in Springfield to go to the Martin Luther King Clemente School, who is 40 plus, or just non-traditional students.
Really, we should have a wait list, quite honestly, but we don't.
Right.
So if through this programming, people who are watching this, if they are so motivated, they should absolutely follow up and take advantage of this opportunity. As I said, it's free, it's accessible, it's within the heart of the community, and yeah, it's September through May, and they get all the traditional school breaks that happen during that time frame as well. But it's investment in one's self, and their time, and just their simple commitment to push further.
Okay. What kind of advice can you give some of the Springfield residents about just, again, going back to schools as non-traditional students, getting involved in the community services that are out there, like even coming to you and participating in some of the events that you're providing?
I would say for those folks who are thinking about Clemente, be a lifelong learner.
Be a lifelong learner. Okay.
Be a lifelong learner.
Learner.
And here's a process you can engage with that can begin to take you on that pathway. The other is find the joy in giving back.
Yes.
And it's not always monetary, but sometimes it's giving of your time, it's giving of your talent and other resources that you might have to make a difference in our community. I think that Dr. King inspired us when he talked about the beloved community. And that's always the vision that I have. How do we create that beloved community? And I think that we have segments, we have pockets of it. But when you experience a Clemente graduation, or you experience these kids who gather on a Saturday morning early to be able to get on a bus, 40 of them with 6 chaperones, and you've got their siblings there, their parents, grandparents, community well-wishers, financial supporters, and sponsors of the tour. That looks like a beloved community to me.
Yeah, it does.
And there are prayers that are being offered, and there's lots of affirmation and belief that this is going to be a life changing experience. That's what we connect into. That's where you can support and be a part of that. Whether it's, again, volunteering your time or giving of your financial resources. And if folks want to do that or feel so motivated, go to our website. There's a link to be able to make a contribution to the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services.
Okay, I feel like this was an educational experience for me, just having a conversation with you about what Martin Luther King has done.
I just appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, so do I, to meet with you. You know, you don't get a chance to meet with, big people like you who are changing lives daily. Because you're busy changing lives.
I don't think about it in that way, though. I really don't. I feel as I try to position myself as a servant leader. So when you're positioning yourself as a servant leader, you understand that you're working for the people, and that you've been given the task of leading an organization that has its struggles and its challenges, but there are some rewards that are sometimes more at the spiritual level, but for the people, it provides them with substance.
Sure.
It provides them with a step up on a ladder towards another level of success and personal fulfillment for themselves.
Yes, yeah, I'm with you with that. See, when I look at you and you speak, I just kind of get lost, and because I'm feeling what you're saying to me. I'm like, you're almost changing things for me as well. Giving back. I have to be more involved in the community and do things like that. But I think here, people get an opportunity to let everyone else know. So this is a vehicle, for everyone to see some things, through me. But was there anything else that you want to add to us to this tonight?
Well, I thank you for the opportunity, to be able to spend this brief time with you, and I hope that I've said something that inspires folks to want to get connected. And there are, sure, supports that we are in need of at Martin Luther King Jr. Family Services, but I also think about the sister agencies that are in our community also. Explore where they have some support needs at also. Find yourself in a position to be able to give back. And I tell you, once you do that, you will find a source of fulfillment that may take you beyond what you might get from financial gain or material gain.
Yeah, I agree. Giving back, it makes you feel so accomplished, like you're doing your duty.
Yeah.
It's all because it's all government. We all govern each other.
Yes.
And we help.
And I think that, given the current atmosphere, from a political perspective, we could spend a lot of time talking about that.
Right.
That we need opportunities to create a better balance, so we show that humanity is still humanity, and that we're still striving to become a better society, despite the mean jabs and the horrible things that are tweeted. This has been a challenging week.
Sure.
In terms of hearing the kind of negativity
Sure.
That's being put out there on social media and the sources that it's coming from. But we have to find those spots where we get personal fulfillment and better alignment to know that we are not all that bad.
This is true. This is very true.
We're not without
I want
hope.
to thank you for coming to the Good News Theater. Everyone on all of our viewers, just look right below. You have the website address, how you can get in touch with the Martin Luther King Jr. Center, and the phone number is right here as well. So please, when you have an opportunity, give them a call. Get involved in those classes. Be a part of the community services that's being offered in your community. Well, I want to thank you again for watching, and my name is Paris Dobbins, your host, and have a great day. Hello, my name is Paris Dobbins, and I am your host on the Good News Theater. Please join me every Sunday evening at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as I bring to you people of our community who offers pro bono services you need to know about. I am proud to showcase these professionals on the Good News Theater. And don't forget, check out our YouTube channel where you can receive more interviews, more updates, and how you can become a guest on our show and or refer someone to become a guest. And one more thing, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay, thank you, and we'll see you there.